Donald Trump's son, Eric, is doing some media for his dad, and he was asked about Donald's recent waterboarding comments, and it got weird.
Let me just ask you about the campaign the other night. He said that he would do more than waterboarding. Any idea? What does that mean? Since the rest of us don't know him, what would he do that's more than waterboarding?
Yeah, well, listen, you see these terrorists that are flying planes into buildings, right? You see our cities getting shot up in California. You see Paris getting shot up. And then somebody complains when, terrorist gets waterboarded, which quite frankly is no different than what happens on college, campuses and frat houses every day. And, the man would keep this country safe. There's no question about it. He's got amazing backbone. He's a tough guy. He's sick of the nonsense. And he wants to protect this country. And that's why he's doing this. I mean, he's sick of seeing what's happening to this country.
Okay, the saddest thing about that is everything he said there was just an argument jacked from his dad, with the exception of, yeah, this is what happens in frat houses all the time, man. No, it's not. No, it's not at all. And everything else was, yeah, you got terrorists flying planes into buildings and shooting up Paris and everything, and what, we can't do this in response? Okay. So, first of all, there's this thing called due process that exists not for shits and gigs, but so that we make sure we get the right people when giving out punishment. In the case of torture and what we did at Gitmo and what we did at Abu Ghraib, the biggest problem with it is there was no due process whatsoever. So I know I bring this up a lot, but a lot of people out there don't know it, so I feel compelled to keep bringing it up. The way we got a lot of the people for Guantanamo Bay, it's not that there were fighters in some field in Afghanistan or Iraq, and they're like, there are the enemy combatants, let's grab them, and then they grab them like G.I. Joe, and they ship them off to Gitmo. No. The Bush administration, Cheney and Bush, made a deal with the government in Afghanistan and the government in Pakistan. Hey, send us guys who are Al-Qaeda, and then we're going to lock them up here in this extrajudicial, unconstitutional prison we set up. So they shipped them people. They weren't fucking Al-Qaeda. They weren't jihadists at all. These were people who the governments did not like. They just went out, rounded them up, shipped them off, collected the pay, and said, you're welcome, that's Al-Qaeda. So we ended up torturing people and holding them without a trial for an incredibly long time, and they weren't even the right people. And this idea that we live in this perfect world where you always have perfect knowledge and it's the 24 situation. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a ticking time bomb. We need to make sure we torture this person in order to save so many more people. That's the movies, you idiot! That's the fucking movies! That's not real life! Are you ever gonna be really that sure? We know there's a bomb in Seattle and this guy has the information. We know he has the information. How do you know he has the information? I don't know. I saw it in the movies. Torture him. No, see, when you do that, you become the bad guy. Okay, when you start copying the tactics of the bad guys, there's no special sauce that just makes you good by definition. You are what you do, and if your actions are bad, you're bad. You're doing things that are not okay, you're doing things that are illegal. International law is supposed to apply across the board. You ever heard the term justice is blind? Or equal protection under the law? Well, the idea is, hey, if it's wrong when Iran tortures people, it's wrong when we do it too. But that's not how these guys think, because they're idiots. They think, when I do it, it's all right. Mm-hmm. But that makes no sense. There's no logic there. All right, now furthermore, let me just add, we put Japanese troops to death for waterboarding our guys in World War II. Think about that. It was a capital offense when somebody did it to us. But now when we do it to other people, we say, it's not even torture. It's enhanced interrogation. Oh, really? Is that why we put people to death? Because they did enhanced interrogation against us? And, people always say, well, I mean, come on. When we do it, obviously, it had to make more sense. Hold on. We dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, incinerated hundreds of thousands of civilians. Like that. And the people that were waterboarding, perhaps they were trying to get information to stop an imminent attack that would kill hundreds of thousands of civilians. And then still we go, that's not reason enough, put them to death. So notice how the standard just flips. Hey, does it help us? Does it not help us? It's a fucking fish on the floor like... No, it's an absolute joke. So it's wrong when they do it, it's wrong when we do it. And finally, when they say, hey, this just happens if frat boys do this. No, waterboarding was literally jacked from a communist Chinese manual on how to torture. That's where we got it from. But now, hey, when we do it, no, it's just frat boy games. Right, I'm sure. I'm sure. Donald, reel in your shitty son, please. I mean, he's just somehow a worse copy of you, repeating some of the same arguments you repeat, and amazingly making them dumber with the little things that he adds on top.